Live. Now we're live.
Welcome to the worst of the best podcast. You wanted the best. Well, they didn't freaking make it. So here's what you get. From Canada, Ryan and Ruban.
Welcome, everybody, to the worst of the best podcast. I am your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, is my brother, Ruben.
Hello.
And today we have a special and first-time guest of the worst of the best podcast, Andrew.
Together with you guys, not as always.
No, this is your first time on this podcast. So welcome to the worst of the best podcast. Do you understand what the premise is?
Yeah, I was going to ask. What do you think the premise of this podcast is?
You told me what the premise of this.
See if you remember.
Okay, what I believe the premise is, you take the phenomenal recording artists, phenomenal movies, phenomenal things that are great.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But break them down and go, okay, where are they poor? Where are these great things terrible?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, somebody else's list, we don't come up with that list of whatever it might be, box office score, Rolling Stone, whatever list, top whatever. But we'll say, what is the worst out of that best?
That's right. So we don't pick the best. We just pick the worst of that best.
It's a great concept.
It was Ruben's idea. This is his brainchild.
I still really can't take credit for it. It came to me in a dream.
Well, that's your dream. Was it somebody else's dream? Or?
I was listening to Pearl Jam in my dream. Vitalogy, that album. Bugs is playing in my dream. And I'm like, such a crappy song, such a good album. And then, anyways, that's how it came up.
So what Ruben's trying to say is...
I'm mumbling through that.
What Ruben's trying to say is that here's Pearl Jam with a great album, but even on this great album, there's a really cruddy song. Oh, which reminds me, we should do the Beatles one day. All right, but today we're doing AC/DC. You're a fan of AC/DC, I presume?
Oh, yeah.
What year were you born, if you don't mind my saying?
78.
Yeah, I'm 75.
77.
We were of that, let's just be honest, cultural and age demographic that chances are we listened and loved AC/DC as young men.
Loved AC/DC.
So I still do.
Still do.
But when you're a teenager, that passion is quite high for music and what have you. Have you ever seen them live?
I have, actually.
What tour?
Yeah. God. I don't know. Like, I saw them play at the Pacific Coliseum in, I think it was like 2002, 2003 or something like that.
So it was probably the, Stiff Upper Lip or...
Is that when we saw them?
That's when we saw them. Yeah.
We would have been in the same room.
Yeah.
No, I think it could have been the Stiff Upper Lip one, just because they had recorded that album in Vancouver, and it was like, remember that video?
Did they
drove around in a
play
Hummer?
Highway to Hell?
Oh yeah, of course.
Did they play Back to Black?
Get out of here. They didn't play that one too, did they?
I can't remember if they did.
Back in Black, sorry.
Back to Black. Yes, Back to Black. Great to be black.
I remember that concert. And
Did Angus Young tear off his pants?
He's being facetious because this is what they do at every show. That's what he's trying to...
Oh.
Yeah.
I only seen the one show, so I don't have anything to draw from. All I remember... all I can remember is, it was unbelievable. It was, one of the greatest experiences of my whole entire life. That whole theater was hot-boxed. It just was...
Well, we were at the top of the hot box.
Yeah, and so was I. And so we were having just the greatest time ever. But I just remember I'd never seen a sea of people all in tune together. So, I had a moment where they were doing Dirty Deeds, and they went, Dirty Deeds, and then the lights come this blue everywhere, and you see every single fist pumping in the Pacific Coliseum.
Love it.
And it was that was that show. Everyone was together.
Absolutely.
No one was going to be fighting with each other. That everyone was having the best time of their entire life. It was one of the greatest moments of my existence was seeing them live.
That's awesome.
They're one of the two best bands in the world.
They're the best rock and roll band.
Sebastian Bach.
They're the best rock and roll band that's ever lived. No one's done anything ever better.
Yeah, they're amazing. I saw them on the Razor's Edge tour in 92, 93. And then I saw them the same tour you just talked about 10 years later. And that's the only times I've seen them. I'm glad I've seen them twice. Obviously, both times with Brian Johnson. Ruben, you seen them when?
Just that one time.
Just the one time? Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you had some news?
Sebastian Bach tweeted out yesterday.
Okay.
A happy birthday to the lead singer of the two biggest bands in the world, Mr. Axl Rose.
Right, it was Axl Rose's birthday yesterday. Happy 57 to Mr. Rose.
Do you know what he's talking about there?
He's been touring with AC/DC.
Right.
Yeah.
I have not heard him play any AC/DC tunes.
They're good.
His performance with the
I
band.
haven't heard his performance yet.
So anyone that's listening to this episode that isn't an AC/DC fan, which I can't imagine anyone listening to this episode if they're not a fan, but great if you are. Thank you. Please keep listening. But everyone that listens to AC/DC knows that Axl Rose stepped in for Brian Johnson when he had some medical issues with his hearing and what have you. They were in the middle of a tour for the Rocker Bus Tour. Axl Rose gratefully and graciously stepped in and did a pretty phenomenal job. And even people that were Axl Rose haters felt he did a great job performing those AC/DC classics because he was able to reach the high notes of Bon Scott that even Brian Johnson wasn't able to reach. So, yeah, it was a very successful Axl DC tour.
So apparently, new album's done, or being done in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Malcolm Young is on it. They have enough of his guitar riffs in the can that he's the rhythm guitar player.
If not the music that he wrote.
Apparently there's hundreds of songs in the can.
Sure.
Let's face it.
It's that's the joke. Angus Young, I think when Razor's Edge came out, I saw an interview with Angus Young on Much Music. The reporter said to Angus, he goes, "You've been accused of making the same album 10 times." And Angus goes, that's not true. We've done it 11 times. So they know what they're doing. They have a formula that works.
Sure, yeah.
And why break that formula?
So apparently Brian Johnson, Axl Rose, Malcolm Young, Bill Rudd are on the album.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So I guess Phil's done
killing his wife.
Killing people.
All right, so these 10 songs, it's a reader's poll. I hesitated how to do this. I thought, do we take top selling albums, which we can say would have been Back in Black, Razor's Edge, TNT, all that stuff. So I was like, and then pick the worst song from each album. But I thought, you know what? These are what readers who are AC/DC fanatics, I guess, responded to a poll put out by Rolling Stone saying, hey, we want you guys to vote for your top favorite AC/DC songs. I don't know how many they were allowed to submit. It doesn't say. But these were the top 10, and I think they kind of represent what your standard, if not a couple surprises in here for top 10. This isn't, again, Ruben and I have said this before, this isn't our choice of top 10. I'm telling you right now that my top 10, we should have done that. Man, if we were better prepared, we would have had our own top 10 list.
No, this is good. This is good.
But I mean, just what I mean, like just to compare what I consider a top 10. But there are a couple songs on this top 10 that when we get to them, I'm just going to say for the record, there's no way this would be my worst on any list. But let's just start with the top 10, going from 10 to 1. I presume it is in that order of like 10 being the least and 1 being the most voted for song of their career at this point.
And just to add here, Ryan,
yeah, please.
Not to be too hard on yourself.
No.
I think that it's probably better to go to this like very neutral format because you become a subjective person. You go like, oh no, these are the best.
Just to compare, not to pick from my own list.
No, totally right. Yeah. So if you were to be left in charge, there'd be a bunch of people going like, really, Ruben, come on now.
It looks like Brian Johnson, for those that are watching, has a little pee spot.
I think it's just dark there. Yeah, they're all definitely showing their vices here. Beer, smoking.
Well, I think
he has to go to the bathroom. That's Cliff Williams, the bassist.
I think it's entirely possible because
he's retired.
Brian Johnson, he can really like belt it out, and a little pee has to come out every once in a while.
It happened to Fergie one time.
Yeah, Fergie peed on stage.
Yeah,
okay.
So let's keep our worst to the last.
So that's right. So when we come across the song, we're obviously going to come across your own personal choice. When you speak to the song, try not to speak too poorly about it if you can. So when we give our picks at the end, our viewers or listeners won't know what we picked until the end. Fair. Okay. All right. So here's
our listener.
But I will say right off the bat, I'm kind of breaking my own rules here by saying "Let There Be Rock" is one of the greatest rock songs ever written. I love this song so much. I love this song. There might be 2 songs where I'll say this, and then that'll be it. But leave the 8 still where you don't know what my worst choice is. So let's just do a little piece. We are doing a backup recording because Facebook will probably take this down. I don't care. I'll put it back up.
It's like pump up the volume.
Yeah.
Well, Christian Slater's getting taken down from the man because he's broadcasting illegally. Same with this.
So I'm hoping because it's live.
You're Christian Slater.
Yes.
Yeah, Christian Slater with the great hair, the bangs coming down.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a little sample. I thought the beginning part of all the AC/DC songs are always kind of the best. The build up, the chords.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get to see this live energy as well. There's Bon Scott, the first singer. Amazing talent. Lost at the age of 29, I believe.
Sad.
Do you want to Google? Was it his? I believe he drowned in his own vomit.
He fell asleep in a car, and he was upright. He was like sitting in a car in the window, and
he was sitting upright and drowned.
Yeah.
Really? So just went back down his throat again. Oh.
Just it's a really weird story.
That's too bad. I didn't know he was in his car. I just envisioned him being in bed. So I think we stopped like every
33.
33. My apologies. 33. So he lived a little longer than I thought. But boy, it would have been. Look, I love Brian Johnson and I love Axl Rose, but it would have been kind of neat to see Bon Scott.
No one knew what they was gonna do. When Tchaikovsky had a music set, left out the lights.
That's great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
my daughter always asks when she sees like a concert thing, why is their shirt off? Why is their shirt off?
it's warm. The lights are warm.
Yeah.
But that's normal,
Sure.
But at the same time, I think it is hot on stage with lights on you. They probably get warm.
That's probably why Adam Levine shed his shirt, eh?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the halftime show? Anybody?
No.
Okay. He looked terrible.
I felt embarrassed for him.
Sure. Any other thoughts on Let There Be Rock?
It's fantastic.
Okay. Shoot to Thrill, another live performance I got from YouTube. This is from the River Plate concert. I don't know if you've seen the footage of this concert, Andrew.
No.
I believe the whole concert is on YouTube.
Okay.
Piecemeal, or you can watch it in whole. The crowd is insane. Watch. Yeah, Sandy. Where's this? River Plate. This is South America. South America. Yeah. See?
They know how to.
Look at this.
Yeah, wow.
Look at that. What a fun song. Oh, man. So I can't recommend this concert footage. I have watched this video, Shoot Thrill, many times. Again, one of my favorite ACDC songs. I'm stopping here. It just so happens that number 10 and 9 happens to be two of one of my favorite, I love a lot of their catalog. I mean, AC/DC's like many bands, they have songs that I care very little for, and there's the songs that are good are just out of this world good. Mm-hmm. So it just so happens that I would have put, personally, Shoot to Thrill, for the record, is actually my favorite AC/DC song of all time.
You are totally breaking all of the rules right now.
No, we're allowed to say favorite to a degree without eliminating to the least favorite. But we should say that sometimes on our worst and best list, it doesn't mean we don't like it. It's just the worst of the best. So we can actually like something, but still have to
sometimes it's been difficult.
Sometimes it's difficult to choose.
This one is easy for me.
I apologize for but I'm so excited talking about Shoot to Thrill. I just love this song. I can't help but talk about it. But it's actually my favorite AC/DC song. All right. Do you have a favorite AC/DC song?
Of course.
Which one is it? You can say your favorite because it won't be your worst.
You know, it is funny. Like, I have 3 favorite.
Okay,
AC/DC
we'll
songs.
save it after. Well, I want to hear it.
I can't. I just can't decide between the 3.
Okay. Shoot to Thrill was from their Back in Black album. We should have mentioned that, obviously, and that was with Brian Johnson's first album with the band after Bon Scott's passing. And a lot of these top 10 from readers come from that Back in Black album, which is their number 1 selling album of all time. I think it's 100 million copies or something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Create for one album.
Yeah. So here's a little sample of Hell's Bells. And the band, they got something kind of similar, but different, which is probably the best thing you could do.
Well, they got somebody actually different. After he got hired on, he got something wrong with his throat, and he sounded more gravelly than initially.
Oh.
Yeah. So they actually signed on for something a little bit different.
And it just sounded like Bon a little bit?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He did sound a little bit before. If you look at his other bands that he was in, I forget what it's called, but he got more gravelly because he has something wrong with his throat. Right?
So that's number 8. Number 7 says it's not available here, so I gotta let it go over here. So number 7 is It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll. This is from their first album, and the video, they look so young. This is 1975. Have you seen the video for this? Okay. And what I love, they're actually going down the street, and AC/DC, well, they weren't big in 1975, but here's a band on the back of a truck, going through the streets of Australia, playing instruments. They weren't quite the band that they are today.
No.
Or back then, even. No. So it's just kind of fun.
Well, they weren't at the top yet.
No, they weren't. This was their first. What I love about when bands do this is they're singing about something they haven't achieved yet.
Sure, yeah.
They're actually saying it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, but boy, did they get there.
A quick diversion here.
Please.
Top 10 songs with bagpipes in it.
Boy, this is like a mini. Could we do like a mini Worst of the Best aside of Worst of the Best?
Come Talk to Me, Peter Gabriel.
Sure.
Are You Ready to Rock? Wizard.
Okay.
The Silent Boatman, Parliament.
Okay.
Ooh. Tomorrow, U2.
Oh.
Hair of the Dog.
Yeah, Nazareth. That's a great song. I love that song.
Anthem, the sensational Alex Harvey Band.
Wow. as opposed to the non-sensational Harvey.
Sky Pilot, Eric Burdon and the Animals.
And the Animals, yeah.
Celtic Ray, Van Morrison, Paul McCartney and Wings, Mall of Kintyre.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, and I'm obviously number one.
Number one is AC/DC's.
AC/DC.
It has to be the number one song of bagpipes.
Yeah.
It really is.
The most memorable.
Can we pick our worst of the bagpipe songs? I'm going to make my pick right now.
Sure, go ahead, brother.
With Anthem, the sensational Alex Harvey band. I think
I'm
they
not
got
going to argue with that.
Okay.
But they have the best album cover.
I'll just anything that U2 does. It
Oh, wow.
can't be liked by me.
All right, that was a little mini worst of the best inside of. Okay.
Covering a lot of ground today.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Well, we have a guest host, so we're able to do a little bit of extra lifting. Okay, so Bon Scott's last album was Highway to Hell. Incredible album, by the way. Can you just imagine? Well, think about the double way. Like for a band to have a new singer and to end on such a high note as Highway to Hell, and then to have your second album with the next album with your second singer to be Back in Black. You don't get that kind of luck very often in rock music.
Well, before we play that, it was kind of interesting. This particular song sparked a huge amount of controversy in the United States.
Please tell.
At the time, they were talking about censorship.
Tipper Gore.
Right, and so the lyrics of this particular song were used in several instances where they were trying to demonize and like the need to protect people from lyrics such as this, and it sparked a huge campaign from artists. And the culmination was they had invited Dee Snider,
Oh, I remember
Twisted
that.
Sister, to speak in front of a subcommittee a congressional subcommittee with Al Gore,
Right.
and he just put it to bed. If you ever get a chance to see
Yeah,
that,
I've seen Dee Snider. Yeah, oh yeah, I've
it's
seen
an
that.
excellent clip of history, really.
All right.
It's still good.
Yeah, I love the chords, the drum kicking in. It's great.
I love his jean vest.
Oh yeah, look at that. He's got his pipes there,
The cut off sleeves there, so good.
Angus with his schoolboy outfit. Love it. Love it. All right, so now we have the 1976 track, Ride On. Most fans love it, but some dismissively label it as a ballad. Well, it's not a ballad, it's a blues song. This is my opinion, a blues rock song.
Yeah.
And I ain't too old to hurry, 'cause I ain't too old to die. But I sure am hard to beat.
Did you say it's more blues?
Well, AC/DC has always talked about their blues roots, and they
Right.
always say that they're a blues rock band. When you go back the lineage of like heavy metal and like rock and roll in the early to mid 70s, is AC/DC truly was like a lot of those other bands that just took everything from blues albums from the 50s and the 60s and just turned it into rock and roll. And they've
Absolutely.
always been saying that they were how much they loved blues, like American blues music, and that was like their most main influence, right? So it's only fitting that they've got some bluesy stuff in there.
I wish they did more of these type of songs. I love older, fast, hard pounding rock songs, but this showcased a little bit of their ability to do that slower, groovy blues type music. Like,
They have hundreds of songs unreleased. Dude, there's bound to be some.
Well, I think it's like, again, you go back to like there's two bands in one, right? Once Bon Scott like left the band, it's the same as Metallica after Burton passed away. They could never ever be the same band. It was not possible. They just
it's a different dynamic.
They just did really well afterwards.
So the past members of AC/DC, Simon Wright, drums, Brian Johnson apparently, according to Wikipedia.
Sure, he's a past member. Yeah,
Cliff Williams,
that's the bassist.
retired.
He's retired.
Another bass guitar.
Yeah, he was on the first couple of albums. Cliff wasn't at the beginning.
Oh, Phil Rudd, obviously Bon Scott, Colin Burgess, drummer, Larry Van
Crite is a jazz musician. He's best known for being the original bassist for the rock roll. So I don't think he recorded.
Oh, okay.
He was fired in '74.
Ooh.
Yeah, imagine being so close.
Dave Evans.
That's got to sting a little bit.
Yeah, they've had a couple singers before Bon Scott, but Bon Scott's the first singer to record officially on an album, though there is one recording with one of these guys. I think it might have been Dave Evans. Can I Sit Next to You, Girl? There's a YouTube recording of him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where he sings that.
And apparently the current members are Angus, Chris Slade, Stevie Young.
Which is their cousin.
Yeah.
Axl Rose. That's hilarious. They got Axl Rose as a member. Interesting. Well, that's Wikipedia. I mean, I hate when people slag on Wikipedia. It's not that it's totally inaccurate all the time, but sure. They're saying Axl Rose is the current member. Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, was it already number 5?
Yeah. Speaking of Axl Rose, they covered Whole Lotta Rosie on Gene Our Lives.
No.
They did not?
No, it's Mama Kin, Nice Boys, Move to the City.
Or is that just the B-side?
Yeah, I know they play it live a lot.
Okay.
Just do Gene Our Lives. I can't be wrong. Okay, there was 2 covers on that album?
Oh, maybe it's Gene Our Live.
Yes, sure. Yeah, they play it live all the time. But I don't know if it's on it either. Gene Our Lives was Moved to the City. The live side was Moved to the City, Nice Boys, Mama Can. Why am I forgetting the 4th one? Rue. This is embarrassing.
Well, that's fine. We'll get back to it.
Well, just Google Gene Our Lives. Get the track listing. It's driving me crazy. I don't know if I can go on. Because I can't forget that 4th song. It's driving me crazy.
Reckless, Nice Boys.
Reckless Life. Thank you. Reckless Life. All right, Whole Lotta Rosie. I love this song. Who doesn't love this song? Now what we have, though, when we hear the song live now, and that's right. That's right.
I want to tell a story about
What's interesting is just like when we're going back to like the blues riff, like that's just like classic.
Absolutely.
Rosie steals the show.
Rosie steals the show.
She looks at the pretty.
I've never noticed him having a satchel.
He did in the early days.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is the school books in there?
Yeah, he's ready to go. We just got off school.
She looks at the smile. 4, 2, 3, 9, 5, 6. You can say she's got a lot.
Okay. So with this song,
measurements?
Yeah, look up the measurements for Whole Lotta Rosie.
I remember when I saw them at the Coliseum, they did the song. They had a huge inflatable.
Yeah, I love it. This was written for Bon Scott, who he enjoyed a night with a Haitian woman, and this is a true story.
You're right what you know.
You're right what you know.
So apparently, with those measurements, you're approximately 266 pounds.
Beautiful. Good for him or her. 42, 39, 56. That's the. She ain't exactly pretty. She ain't exactly small, but she had it all.
4, 2, 3, 9, 5, 6. You can say she's got a lot.
And Angus is going crazy. I love this. Now, if you're watching this live with us, or watching it later, this performance right here is really quite interesting. At the BBC Sight and Sound, this is a fun performance to watch. And they do Let There Be Rock at the same performance. The crowd was there to see a different band.
Oh.
But the band was sick. Or something. They couldn't do the show. So AC/DC filled in for the gig for a crowd that was already there. And what I love is they performed. Like they were performing in front of their fans. They were unknown to pretty much so 1977. They weren't quite big yet, but enough that they were here to fill the gig. But when you watch this performance live and see the energy that Angus puts out, he's playing in his mind. He's playing in front of, and that's what I love about AC/DC. I show this to my sons, saying this is a band that is going to make it to the top because they are performing like they have the fans already. They already have.
Well, we should start podcasting like that.
We should probably start podcasting like that. Good call. Number 3, You Shook Me All Night Long. Now this is like everyone, whether you're an AC/DC fan or not.
Everybody loves the song.
Let's say they filmed the same camera and the same stage for Hell's Bells for this video. Now I admit this is probably the first AC/DC song that I would knew as a young person. She had those sagless eyes. Was it sagless eyes? Telling me the lies? Knock me out with those American thighs? Yeah. Anything you guys want to add to that?
It's a great song.
It really is.
Okay.
There's no one who can say that that's not a great song. Not a person alive would not do this.
Right.
When that song
You're
plays.
bopping your head. You're tapping your foot.
I would say like that song to me, there's an argument for that being like the greatest rock and roll song ever written.
Oh wow.
Like
Wow.
there's no downside to that song. Like I still get the same feeling every time that the guitar starts off.
Well, 16,000 people are going to disagree with you.
Oh, downvotes.
The downvotes on YouTube.
Have you ever downvoted a YouTube video?
No, I don't think so.
16,000 people.
Well, 460 like it and 117
There's
million.
always somebody.
Most people are just grumpy. I meant real people, Ruben.
Yeah. That's funny. I will say though that when this song came out, number 2, AC/DC's Thunderstruck, I was 16 at the time.
I was in grade 8.
I will admit, it was this song and this album that made me
this
buy.
really blew me away.
Yeah. So I was familiar with AC/DC the way you'd be familiar with any rock band, but I wasn't quite behind them. I didn't have any of those CDs. I wasn't. The Razor's Edge put them back on the map in my world.
Yeah, they had like my brother was an even bigger AC/DC fan than me, and he bought every single cassette tape that came out. And during the 80s, they just were just slamming albums out. And I remember listening to them. Like there was an album that was called "Flick of the Switch."
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, 82, I think.
Yeah, no one remembers what's on that
No.
album. It's a good album, but like nothing really sticks.
Right.
And they had a whole bunch of albums through the 80s like that. But when Razor's Edge came out, it was like insane. There's so many good songs on that album.
Oh,
ridiculously
yeah.
good songs.
My worst pick for that album, if we did it, Mistress for Christmas. I remember seeing this video.
I know. I was like, where is this? What is going on?
Thunderdome.
Yeah, it's a Thunderdome, yeah. The camera work back then to us was amazing.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good steady shot. And then here goes Angus on cue. Oh, I love that.
It's a magical video.
And that build up, the pounding drums. Chris Slade there. That's just power. Yeah, chills.
It's a shame to turn that off.
I know. I just, I'm already pushing the edge here with Facebook taking this off. You can get it back on. What you say is when they say we've screened this, you just say, it's my music, leave me alone. And they usually just don't care. But they just have all these algorithms and robots ready to...
Back to Black.
Which is so weird because people just go on YouTube and like...
I know. Yeah.
All right. So number 1, Back in Black, is the number 1 voted song by fans of the Rolling Stone magazine. Here's a little sample. I'm sure we all know what it sounds like. Look at that big rhythm guitar. Stratocaster?
Hit the sand. I've been to know I'm glad to be back. Yes, I'm that news from the news. Else kept me hanging around. I get the minute of the stars getting me high. Forget the hearse calling out.
Brian Johnson, always ready to play football with that.
Yeah.
Early days of his shirts that he used to wear, these football type shirts. Well, my co-hosts, do you have a pick? These top 10 songs, your worst pick. Does it mean you don't like the song?
Yeah, I got mine.
Okay, I wish you let our guests go first.
Sure.
Yeah, this one's really, really tough, man.
Now remember, so the easiest way, if it's tough for you, let's just say you have a CD, okay? You're given a CD and you're stranded on an island, and these 10 songs are going to be on it. But in order for you to have the CD, you have to get rid of one of the songs.
Yeah.
So which song do you get rid of to have the other 9 to listen to on the stranded island?
It's a toss-up for me right now.
We only accept one answer.
Yeah, I know. But I'm going to have to go with Shoot to Thrill.
Okay, just let me...
I know.
No, just it's okay. You might have the same reaction with my picks. Let me just have mine here with my little heart attack. Deep breath.
There's no...
No, it's okay. Ruben and I have literally gotten into fights with some of our choices, so you're fine. Don't take anything personally. That's your pick, and you stand by it. So you're going to take off of your 10 disc song, or 10 song disc. You're taking off.
What if it's a USB stick?
No, it's only allowed 9 songs. All right, so my pick, I've got the option of having the screen here, so people can see my pick live right here.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Ryan.
Okay, listen. Let me give my reason.
Have you listened to the song?
Yes, I'm very familiar with You Shook. Now again, we're taking this. We're taking the CD on a deserted island. I'm by myself. I've heard it so much in my head I can play it. To me, it's like the Enter Sandman of Metallica. Okay, it's a song that introduced me to AC/DC, and I'm grateful for that. But I don't get excited by it anymore at all. I like it when I hear it live. If I see a concert footage,
You're
of
trying
her,
to say that she didn't knock you out with her American thighs?
Her sex-
American
I know.
thighs, Ryan.
What does that mean?
it just means they were
I don't know what it means,
Haitian,
but
they had an American thigh, and the
I
Whole
love
Lot of
it.
Rosie was.
They're very international.
So that's my pick for worst of their best songs.
Shocking. A little shocking.
Doesn't mean I don't like it. It's the one I take off the disc.
All right.
Ruben, your choice.
It's a long way to the top.
Okay, wow, I'm really wow. Okay, explain.
I love the song.
I'm sure, yeah, of course.
If I don't have to hear a song with bagpipes, I'm okay. But it's not the bagpipes.
Sure.
It's the lyrical content. Now, this is a weak case for AC/DC. Lyrical content.
Yeah, judging the song by
But
lyrics.
it's so self-aware. It's too meta.
Okay.
Where they're writing about themselves.
Okay.
It's I like writing about other things. Where you don't, I don't know what Thunderstruck is. You know what I mean? But I like that. That has more imagination.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Sure.
for lyrical content.
So it's weak on the lyrical content.
Yes, that goes. Yeah.
And the one, what's the lyrics again? Something about I forget the lyrics. I don't want to hear it, but I will give you an example of the lyrics here.
No, it's the self-aware thing.
It's a long way to Tipperary. Wasn't that Snoopy? Riding down the highway, going to a show, stop in all the byways, playing rock and roll, getting robbed, getting stoned, getting beat up, broken boned, getting had, getting took. I tell you, folks, it's harder than it looks. Oh, I kind of like that.
I'm not saying I hate it.
No, but you're making the argument.
But that's the reason. Because they're writing and talking about, I don't know.
That's how it goes playing in the band, Rube. That's just how it goes.
I understand.
That's how it goes.
I understand. I've watched Behind the Music a lot of times.
Yeah, rest in peace, that show. That's it. So remember, in front of every silver lining, there's a cloud. And we're here to help you find it. Thank you, Andrew, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me very, very kindly.
Peace.